Thank you, and very good microphones indeed. Thank you, and welcome to the April 3rd, 2023 meeting of the Surry County Board of Commissioners. We're delighted to be in Elkin City Schools. We're delighted that they were able to host our meeting. We always enjoy coming to Elkin and having a meeting over here. A great pleasure, and we're grateful to the Board of Education and the school administration and staff and Dr. Cox for hosting us, host our meeting. We always enjoy coming to Elkin and having a meeting over here. A great pleasure, and we're great. And the Board of Education, so administration and staff. I guess I'll just talk over. the meeting minutes from 20th of March, 2023. Do I have a second? Second, Commissioner Tucker. Any discussion, gentlemen? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. Second. Okay, we move to our consent agenda, and I'll call on the county manager, Mr. Chris Knopf.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First item is an
Favor, aye.
ambulance franchise renewal for Norfolk
Opposed?
Regional Hospital.
Ayes have it.
Next item is a tax office request for an EMS refund for the Pilot Mountain
Okay,
Rescue
we move to
Squad.
our consent agenda.
Next is a renovation of the former BOCC
Knopf.
room, in the Government Center, and this is for health use in the interim and then MIS use permanently. Next is Next is a capital outlay overage, basically just for shipping cost and CCOM. Next is an ARP LATCF allocation. This is local assistance allocation from the federal government. Next is a request, or excuse me, an RFB for the Health and Nutrition Center renovation project. Next item is an exemption for surveying services for the Mountains to Sea Trail. Next is a personal property disposal at the Old Westfield School. We will leave out the bleachers that are in that request. Oh, we're leaving them in? Okay, leave them in. We've gone back and forth, so that's my mistake. Next item is a conveyance of personal property to the Surry County Board of Education. And finally, budget amendment number 9.
Okay, thank you, Chris. All right, gentlemen, you have the consent agenda. What is your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented by County Manager Knopf.
I have a motion, Commissioner Tucker, to approve tonight's consent agenda. Do I have a second? Thank you, Chris. All right, gentlemen. Second, Commissioner Goins. Any discussion, gentlemen? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. I have a motion. All right, we'll move to our special recognition, and we're excited to honor our the Elkin High School teachers. All right. Come on down front. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, move to our special recognition, and we're excited to honor our the Elkin High School teachers. All right. Special recognition, teachers. We are delighted to recognize the Teachers of the Year for the Elkin City School System. And Commissioner Johnson, I'll call on you first to make your certificate of recognition. We are delighted to recognize the Teachers of the Year for the Elkin City School System. And, Commissioner Johnson, I'll call on you first to make your certificate of recognition.
Kayla, welcome.
Delighted to.
Congratulations. The County of Surry, Kayla Simmons, Elkin Elementary School,
Mr. Johnson,
hereby presented the certificate of recognition for being selected the 2022-2023 Elkin Elementary School Teacher of the Year, enhancing the quality of education and opportunities to excel in the Elkin City school systems through your untiring exemplary commitment to the betterment of education. The Surry County Board of Commissioners wishes to commend you for your dedication to the Elkin City school system, its faculty, staff, and students. Presented this third day of April 2023 by the Surry County Board of Commissioners, Eddie Harris is chairman, Dan Tucker is chairman, Bill Goins, Larry Johnson, and Mark Merrill. Congratulations.
Angel Adams. She's not.
please. Congratulations.
Yes, I'll be good.
You'll have
Yes. Angela Adams is a teacher in our Global E-Learning Academy. And she has presented this certificate of recognition for being the Teacher of the Year for the Academy. And again, just for enhancing the quality of education and opportunities to learn and excel in the Elkin City School System through untiring exemplary commitment to the betterment of education. And this is presented by the Surry County Board of Commissioners, and they wish Ms. Adams, the Surry County Board of Commissioners wishes to commend Ms. Adams for her dedication to the Elkin City School System. And I will deliver this to her home tomorrow. Since she teaches in our Global E-Learning Academy, she teaches Surry Q.
I'll read this. County of Surry, Ethan Creed, Elkin Middle School is hereby presented this certificate of recognition for being selected as a 2022-2023 Elkin Middle School Teacher of the Year, enhancing the quality of education and opportunities to learn and excel in the Elkin City School System through your untiring exemplary commitment to the betterment of education. Surry County Board of Education, the Surry County Board of Commissioners wishes to commend you for dedication to the Elkin school system. It's faculty, staff, and student school system. And it is the third day of April 2023 by the Surry County Board of Commissioners, Eddie Harris, Van Tucker, Bill Goins, Larry Johnson, and Mark Marion. Surry County Board of Commissioners wishes to
Sarah Estrada.
Are you here? Surry County.
Sarah, how you doing? Sarah, this certificate of recognition is for you. It's for the Elkin High School District Julia Holdhauser Richards. And this certificate of recognition is for you for being selected as the 2022-2023. I believe that's supposed to be high school. We have a typo there. And the Elkin City Schools District Julia Holdhauser Richards Teacher of the Year, enhancing the quality of education and opportunities to learn and excel in the Elkin City school system through your untiring, exemplary commitment to the betterment of education. The Surry County Board of Commissioners wishes to commend you for your dedication to the Elkin City school system, its faculty, its staff, and its students. And this certificate is presented this third day of April by the Surry County Board of Commissioners, Eddie Harris, Van Tucker, Bill Goins, Larry Johnson, Mark Marion, and congratulations and thank you for your dedication to that. Student. This certificate is presented this third day of April. Surry County Board of Commissioners, Eddie Harris, Van Tucker, Bill Goins, Larry Johnson, Mark Marion. Congratulations and thank you for your.
We need to take a break, Martha. While they're working on the audio and the technical pieces, I'd like to recognize Miss Emily Rycroft. She is the principal of Elkin Elementary School, and I don't see Miss Burton nor Miss Hall, audio and nor Miss Colbert, but just I'd like to recognize Miss Emily Rycroft. She is the principal of Elkin Elementary School. Good. I don't see Miss Burton. Ms. Colbert. Well, thank you. And we're always glad to see Ms. Rycroft for sure. Good. Thank you. We're always glad to see Ms. Rycroft for sure. Well, it won't be a terrible tragedy, will it, Martha, if we just continue on All right. Good enough. All right. Yeah, these microphones are actually, I like them
Look, Sandy.
better than ours in Dobson. Okay, at this time, is our open forum portion of our meeting, and I'll open it up. Anyone wishing to come forward to speak to any issue that's pertinent to the citizens of Surry County, or at this time, this county of our meeting at large. So please come up right now. Wishing to come forward to speak to the issue pertinent to this Robin Testerman. Robin, welcome. Time, this county.
We just wanted to come and thank you, the commissioners, for recognizing Child Abuse Prevention Month. Tonight is a very important month, and we appreciate the collaboration between the county and all of your nonprofits. And do you want to add anything?
No, I just want to say, my name is Joe Reck. I serve as the Chief Experience Officer at the Parenting Path. And I just appreciate the support for Child Abuse Prevention Month this April, but also your support through JCPC and all of the above with our match. So we really appreciate you all.
Definitely. Very appreciative of what you do for the children and youth of this community.
Well, thank you. You're very kind to come and spend your valuable time to give us a personal thanks. That means quite a lot. Ma'am, would you like to give a speech as well?
I'm just here to have Robin's back. That's what she told me. So, no, we do think, I know many of you personally, and I know how dedicated you are to the families of Surry County, and we do appreciate it more than you know.
Well, y'all, we're very proud of what you folks do out there, and we all have to work together to make this county a really good place to live, and we all have to do our part, and certainly you folks do that in spades. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for open forum tonight? All righty, we'll close the open forum portion of our meeting, and we'll go straight to the Northwest Regional Library System update. Ms. Joan Surry. And Joan, we're certainly glad to have you here tonight, and always a treat coming to Elkin, the home of the Northwest Regional Library of our meeting. And you folks are a legend over here, that's for sure.
I hope it's a good legend.
It is.
It's so good to see all of you. And again, just want to add, welcome to Elkin here. I was just at the Mount Airy Library, spent most of the day in Mount Airy today, but it's good to see you all here. And we had a really nice meeting with Eddie Harris. He came to the Elkin board meeting recently, and we really appreciate your coming and appreciate others of you who've come. I know, Mark, you've been to the Dobson meeting, and Mr. Goins and Mr. Johnson have been to the Mount Airy meeting, and hope you'll come back. We always enjoy it. Mr. Tucker, hope that we'll be able to see you in Pot Mountain or anywhere you come visit us. We'd love it. We'd love it. But Eddie was just so helpful, and it was interesting. I know we all enjoyed talking to you, and you told us about your experience and your wife's experiences early on as a child in Elkin with the library, and that's really touching. That makes all of us it's very much of an incentive to do what we're supposed to do. So thank you, and hope you'll come back. We do want to thank all of you for all your support. And like you said, we all have to work together to make all these communities strong and as healthy and good as they are. We do want to specifically thank you for the Invest in Surry funds that were granted to the libraries this year, which made an enormous difference in what was going on. Each of the 5 Surry County libraries received a very nice share of the funds, and we appreciate everybody who's worked on that. The funds will be spent by the end of June. We'll have the report in, and they're coming right along, and we hope you'll come visit. Dobson just got new furniture and new technology recently. Mark, I don't know whether you've had a chance to go in to see it, but it's just like Christmas in there. Everybody is so excited. The technology is working real well, and the new furniture is just fantastic. Even it was, you say, the card ladies that come in and play like and approve of the tables and chairs, and we're really happy to hear that. I'm sure you know a lot of those folks, so we appreciate that. And in Mount Airy, I was just talking with Renee, and those funds were used for new technology, 28 new computers, and the others were pretty worn out, and it's just makes all the difference in the world. And a new microfilm reader and printer where you can look at the Mount Airy News and other types of microfilm too that's still used, and it's very, very important. So we appreciate that. Martha Smith is here from Elkin, and she'll tell you a little bit more about Elkin. And Anna Nichols is here too from Pilot Mountain. And they have gotten new technology again to really update old computers, and the folks coming in are really noting the difference. It makes a huge difference and very appreciative. They don't have to wait for things, and you all know what that's like, as well as some new furniture. And I think the furniture there was original to the library, which is great, but it was starting to get a little rickety. So thank you all so much for helping make that possible. I know all the libraries are planning to do some open houses and that type of thing, to have everybody come in the communities, and hope that all of you will come to see the differences. And I know Chris had mentioned getting pictures, and we have, so we'll be getting those into you, and the budget into Denise too. So thank you all so much for that. I did want to just mention too, our budget this year has of course been submitted. It's really pretty much a maintenance budget with inflation, and I had a chance to talk to Chris about it, and it's the cost of doing business. We do have just two small requests in there that are additional services. One is to maintain the hotspots that we got through a grant 2 years in a row, so that people who don't have access at home to internet can use a hotspot, can check one out and use it. And they're being very, very well used and appreciated. And we'd like to keep that going. Again, the grant was for 2 years, and would like to pay for that. The other service is a new one, and we've been asked for this service from a lot of people in communities, and we're trying to respond to it. As libraries change and the world changes, we all know that streaming is just very common. I'm sure most of you do some streaming of one kind or another. And there is a library streaming service that is possible with over 1 million items, which is great, including books and movies and music and all sorts of very, very helpful things. And again, we've been asked for that. We're very glad that the Elkin Library did contribute $5,000 toward the cost of that. And then the rest would be divided amongst all 13 branches. So it's really very affordable for each branch. So we do hope that you'll consider that too. I know a lot of you probably do a lot of streaming yourselves, and we feel this is a good bang for the buck too. So I hope you'll consider. But other than that, it's really just keep things going. Our numbers last year went up. People are coming back to the library. They're coming back to the libraries. They're using them in record numbers. We just want to be able to continue to serve their needs and add services as needed while maintaining the services that are good. So that's really all I wanted to say, unless you have some questions. And again, thank you for your support, and glad you're here in Elkin. It's great to see all of you again, and please stop by your library. We're going to be getting new library cards. We want all of you to get a new library card. We're a lot of new things going on that are very exciting. We really would love to have you come. Of course, all the libraries are getting ready for the summer programs, and that's always a big time of year at all the libraries. So you'll be hearing more about that. We have a couple board members with us too, and I'd just like to introduce Martha Smith, as you know, is the branch manager here in Elkin, to give you a few updates there. So are there any questions at all? We'll look forward to seeing you soon then. Thank you.
My name is Martha Smith. I'm the manager at the Elkin branch of our Northwestern Regional System. I did want to introduce two other people here who are supporting us. April Surry is a member of the Elkin board in the green sweater, and she is on the Elkin advisory board. She's also teaches English. Am I right? English at the Elkin High School. And also Anna Nichols is here in the blue sweater. She is the Pilot Mountain branch manager, and she wanted to come tonight also. First of all, I want to extend my appreciation to Surry County for being a dependable and steady financial supporter of the Elkin branch and all of its sister libraries. Your funding has always ensured that each of us is a community center offering a great variety of services. Libraries have long been able to enhance education and intellectual recreation to all of our citizens. We've had traditional books, audios, videos, and in more recent years, offering digital resources. These include electronic ebooks, e-audio books, online digital resources of journal articles for student research, magazines and newspapers, all these things that are now available through databases. We also have offered genealogical resource databases. And since 2015, we've participated in NC Cardinal, which is a statewide consortium of 50+ public libraries whereby we can assure a library user that we can get almost every single book they are looking for coming in from libraries across the state at no charge to them. So this is a huge sharing resource ability that really enhances the library's ability to serve its patrons. As we always have, we've continued programs for kids literacy and adult enrichment at all the branches. And I did want to say, since we are at Elkin High School, that for many, many years, the public library supported Quiz Bowl, which is the equivalent of, it used to be the College Bowl by GE Electric. If you're that old, you can remember that. But it's our local version for high school students to compete in the academic competition. And this year, Elkin High School did even better than they did last year. They weren't winners, but they are improving every year. And Sarah Estrada was one of the coaches for this team. I do want to say also that East Surry, Anna Nichols Bailiwick, were the runners-up, placed second in our local competition, and we were very pleased that Surry County did a good job in that competition. We offer a lot of traditional resources, but libraries are more than just books. What are these non-traditional categories? Well, I have 3 that I'm summarizing for you tonight. One is technology. All the branches offer laptops and hotspots for circulation to people who need this digital technology. We all offer free Wi-Fi access 24/7 every day of the year. We all offer public computers for free access to the internet. And we all have non-internet kids learning content on computers as well as laptops. Second, in our non-traditional categories are community services. I think people who don't come in libraries don't realize what kind of service we offer to everyday, daily needs of people. We are the copy centers of each town that the branches are in. Copy centers are more important because our lives rotate around smartphones that are personal computers, and people are always coming into the libraries to print a paper document off of their smartphone. So even though we have the ability to have electronic storage, for some reason, we still got to have it on paper. And people no longer have printers at home, and so they come to the public libraries to print out these documents. I would say nearly 40% of the people who walk through Elkin's doors are going to ask for a printing service or what I call a copy center service. People need simple legal documents printed out for them, such as wills, powers of attorney, divorce papers. I had a woman in our library today who needed a power of attorney. Faxing is continuing to be a big business at branch libraries. It is an old technology, but people are finding that in order to communicate to their providers of especially financial and medical services, the providers want them to fax information over to the provider. And so we do a lot of faxing at the branches. And today we were especially busy at the Elkin Library. I don't know why. It was a Monday, spring breaks, I guess. We don't have a full moon quite yet, but almost. But we were hopping busy over there, and we did about 8 or 10 faxes today. The third category well, not to forget, one other community service that is offered at Elkin as well as Mount Airy. We are wrapping up our 9th year of offering free income tax filing services to low-income households. This is a volunteer-driven service. It is free. And this year, the Elkin volunteers are going to file more than 360 individual tax returns. You already know that those returns that are going to yield a refund to the filer will pump more cash dollars back into the local economy. So this is a very important service that not everyone knows that we offer. The final category that is non-traditional is in the education and learning categories. We offer STEM and STEAM story times for early elementary kids to further develop their reading skills and to challenge their creative thinking in small building projects. We have teenagers honing their skills at writing stories when they come to play Dungeons and Dragons at special programs for their age. We also, with the assistance from Friends of the Library, as well as statewide grants, are able to bring in professional theater programs that both Elkin and Mount Airy have presented to school-age children. We also are building programs around statewide themes. This year is the North Carolina Year of the Trail, and at Mount Airy, at Pilot Mountain, they are offering programs with the state park. And also in Elkin, there's the NC Trail Days, and the Elkin Library offers programs to enhance all the offerings during that weekend. Finally, also a national theme for summer programs is all together now, and every branch library will be offering summer programs to enhance those recreational idle times during the summertime for children as well as adults. Libraries are the places where many diverse groups meet. We have weavers and spinners and knitters who come together to enjoy their hobby and have casual conversation. We have homeschool groups that come to have classes at the libraries. We have crafting programs for adults. We have yoga and meditation groups who come in, and I hope it's quiet enough for them to conduct their needs. And we also have political discussion groups come in and use our spaces. So what is new and up and coming for Elkin in 2023? As Joan mentioned, the Elkin grant from the Invest in Surry monies is to fund architectural plans and construction documents to build out 2 private study rooms in the Elkin Library. The Elkin Library is simply one big room, and we have one fairly large meeting room. But during COVID and afterwards, when virtual meetings have become more and more popular, we have had a greater demand for people needing private meeting areas where they can have a virtual meeting and have the audio turned on. And so we decided a good use of those funds would help us to build out these rooms into the main area of the library, which will offer these private meeting areas. These quiet meeting areas are needed by students. They're needed by entrepreneurs who don't have a public accessible office. And they're also, we have discovered, needed by people passing through town, coming off the interstate, who need to stop traveling and have a virtual meeting of some sort. So the ability to have these private meeting spaces is very, very important for us, and we appreciate your contribution to this effort. The remaining monies for this effort are coming from endowment funds as well as the Friends of the Library. So it's a funding stream is coming from 3 different places to enable us to do this. The region also received a grant called Bright Ideas, in which it has been able to purchase a substantial library of kits for makerspace programs. This is going to include weaving, sewing, digitized gaming, crafting, computer coding, circuitry, airbrush painting, and audio video production. So look forward to each of your libraries offering these more up-to-date and trend-setting programs. And finally, as Joan mentioned, we, in our budget request this year, is money for Hoopla. This is the digital streaming service that she mentioned that is targeted to libraries to offer digital access to books, audios, TV shows, music. They have comic books, they have magazines, they have all sorts of items you can purchase. This is called Hoopla, Hoopla. And in order to jumpstart this service, the Elkin Public Library endowment, it's not from operating funds, but it's from its endowment, has offered to the region $5,000 to be the seed money in hopes that the city and county funding bodies can offer us the remaining $7,000 that's needed to set up this account with Hoopla. We hope this will start on July the 1st. It is the future for public libraries, and we hope that the Northwestern Regional Libraries can offer this service. So I want to conclude by saying that libraries are frontline resources for daily information needs as well as complex problems. They are education centers for reading and learning and makerspace programs where creativity will blossom. Libraries are business centers and meeting places for local folks as well as travelers. Libraries are wireless connectivity places for anyone in the digital world. Libraries enhance the quality of life for each and every person in our communities in this county. And we want to thank you very, very much for your continued support. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Gentlemen, any questions? No, I'd say very thorough, very good report,
Thank you.
and we're excited to support the public library. I know personally, as I told you folks down there at your board meeting, it was a integral part of my wife's growing up here and going to high school here and going to the library to study, as well as myself when I was in high school here. And you folks have always played a big part in our community, and we appreciate what you folks do down there. And we hope it continues into the future as well. And I appreciate Ms. Sharif and Ms. Nichols and Ms. Rycroft and Ms. Soiree for being here as your board members. And I want to thank you again for inviting me to your meeting. And I enjoyed meeting with you folks down there, and I thought it was very informative. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, and I hope you'll all come again another time.
Thank you. Mr. Mark Willis, Substance Abuse Recovery Director. That sounds like a really big deal. He is a big deal. Mark's an outstanding guy.
Evening, gentlemen. One of the things that we've worked really hard on is to try to figure out all the effort that we go to and all the programs we have, which I'll present to you on the second half of this presentation, is are we accomplishing anything? I can give you process numbers, which you'll see, but are we moving the needle at all? You'll see the same format last quarter that I presented, but we did a lot of work because the chairman asked that we reformat our impact comparisons. Rather than comparing ourselves to 99 other counties, we looked at, we broke it down to tier 1 counties and then further broke it down to 12 tier 1 counties that demographically are most similar to Surry County. So what you'll see when we're doing a county comparison in 5 different categories and on 12 statistical measures, how we match up with all the data we could acquire from the census and DHHS with these 12 other tier 1 counties. So we look at 5 different categories. The first one being personal health. We look at acute hepatitis infections and suicides as a comparison to these 12 other counties. Acute hepatitis because primarily the transmission of hepatitis comes from intravenous drug use with dirty needles. And suicides because evidence-based processes show that there's a significant connection between deaths of despair, which include substance use and drug overdoses. And where we rank in comparison to those 12 other counties is we're at the top of the 4th quartile. Suicides, you'll see those numbers indicate we're about average when we look at those 12 other counties. The question comes up is why are we trying to do it this way? Well, one is that to just give you straight numbers from say 1 year to the next, especially in the last couple of years, we know the numbers are skewed. Even all the evidence that's coming out from the federal government and the state government trying to measure numbers that are pre-COVID and COVID and post-COVID all come with asterisks because all the data was skewed. So we could try to compare ourselves to other counties and see whether we're moving the needle. The easiest thing to do is to be able to say to you, gentlemen, last year, there were X number of people who suffered from substance use disorder in this county, and this year, there's less. Well, we know that is impossible. So the next best thing is to measure statistically those things that substance users or the lack of an reduction of are impacting this community. The next one of the second of the 5 categories is family health. We look at.
So Mark, I want to
Go ahead,
interrupt you
sir.
there real quick. On that previous one there, so our county for the hepatitis C infection, we're in the high range. Is that correct?
We're at the top of the 4th quartile, and that's
Yeah.
how we measure that in 4 pieces. So yeah, we're at
We're at the extreme on that one.
yes,
And so it looks like we're kind of in the mid-range on the suicides.
yes, sir.
And you get those numbers from where?
North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, from census data, as well as the Department of Commerce.
Okay. All right. I just wondered how they were tracked. Thank you.
Difficult part is to find numbers that we can track. Sometimes there's significant delay in gathering the information. Sometimes not all counties gather the same information. But if the data is reportable to DHHS, then we can at least compare our data to theirs. Foster children that require placement due to substance use by parents. Again, we're at the top of the 3rd quartile. In other words, we're in the top 75% in comparison. And neonatal abstinence syndrome, that's children that are born to mothers who are addicted. In comparison, we're at the very top. That's a hard number to acquire because a lot of our newborns don't actually birth here. They're moved to Forsyth County because we don't have NIC units. And that's why there's a significant delay in those numbers. You see the last numbers we can acquire 2020. We also look at businesses. We think that's something that we can track, and that's a health issue when it comes to the our wealth factors, and we actually do pretty well in those numbers. Our unemployment rate and our workforce participation rate are within the 25%. So we're doing better than other counties when it comes to employing people. Last or fourth, how does our community rank with other communities when it comes to its health? The two numbers that are trackable, and my thanks to EMS, which does an excellent job in gathering those statistics, is our drug overdose deaths and our overdoses that are reported by emergency rooms. And we're about in the bottom of the third quartile and the top of the third quartile for those two measures. Lastly, we look at some criminal justice numbers. Our incarceration rates here are about average in comparison to those 12 other counties. And thank you to the sheriff's office. We'll track numbers, but those numbers are hard to compare to other sheriff's offices. So from year to year, we're tracking IVCs, and you see those involuntary commitment numbers by just the sheriff's office participation in 2022 at 317. And the crimes against property. Why crimes against property? Because if you're a substance user and you're trying to fuel your addiction, you'll probably resort to petty larcenies, shoplifting, and B&Es in order to acquire. So, and if we can track those numbers from year to year, theoretically, if we're having an impact, hopefully those numbers will decrease. Any questions on those numbers? What are we doing to try to push our numbers down in comparison to these other counties? And here's where these process numbers come in. Our part in this equation is demand reduction. I think in any effective program, there has to be demand reduction effort and a supply reduction effort. Our law enforcement agencies are dedicated to reducing the supply of substances that come into this county. And our job, I think, is to equal that effort by providing services that will help those people either prevent people from trying to use those substances, or those that are on them, help them connect to services that will result in treatment and recovery. This year, we've become especially productive and aggressive in a prevention effort. We're focusing on the reduction of vaping, the reduction of overdoses, and suicide prevention. For pure numbers, I'm extremely happy with Ms. Reeves' efforts. In the last year and a half, she's distributed over 1,000 chemical disposal kits, over 100 medical lock boxes, just over 800 Narcan kits. That's two Narcan administrations per kit, and tens of thousands of prevention material and information throughout the county. A special note, I think, is the relationship that we have with Surry County Schools. And an example of that, they have sponsored an Addiction Awareness Week that will be in April, and we are a significant part of helping them put those presentations together. In addition, we partnered with the Drug Enforcement Administration, and in May, a special agent from Atlanta, as well as a special guest, a former and retired NFL player, White Shoes Johnson, will be here to provide a coaches clinic to the coaches in all the schools of Surry County schools. And I was told by Ms. Reeves to make sure that the commissioners are well aware of that, and they're certainly invited. It'll be a morning event. We'll provide some light breakfast and a lunch, and an opportunity for the coaches to talk to Mr. Johnson. So my thanks to I think Surry County Schools is setting the pace for implementation of youth empowerment in their schools. Our intervention team, impressive numbers, I think, since its implementation in March of 2020. We've received over 900 referrals and requests for support. Almost 200 residents have now been placed in treatment services, and a number of others have been provided some type of social support if they requested it. Those numbers you'll see, we indicate from July 2022 to the present. We broke that off because in the first year and a half, we were on contract with a treatment provider. That's the intervention team is now a county resource and is integrated into our office. Since that time, with our efforts at outreach to the hospitals and to the healthcare in general, our numbers have doubled, and we receive almost 60 referrals a month from all sources. Special thanks to Hugh Chatham Hospital, which has been extremely cooperative. Its hospitalists and social workers are providing a significant number of referrals. Special thanks to the EMS director because the grant that you all approved and EMS received and started their program in January of this year, an EMS medication assisted treatment bridge program, and the partnership in that as part of the grant with the intervention team and their paramedics. And one of the most aggressive paramedics I know is in the back here, paramedic Kilgore, has resulted in a very short period of time to have 14 clients in this program. Specifically, what they do is they go to the field and they connect our residents to a Suboxone medication that allows them to be weaned off their opioids. The intervention team acts as a healthcare navigator, where behind the scenes they help that individual move to a longer term treatment program and hopefully eventually a residential program or an outpatient program. Our transportation team, since its implementation in May of 2021, has received over 1,900 requests for transportation, and we now regularly transport 10 to 12 individuals per day to treatment providers, court appearances, probation meetings, and non-emergency medical appointments. And I have to say that Ms. Geip, who's the transportation coordinator, I have pressed her to the point of her frustration to break the system, figure out how to move, how to use 5 vehicles and 5 drivers to its maximum, and she's almost done that. So we're at the point where our requests are almost exceeding our capability to fulfill them. Our new program, reintegration, reentry, has 2 parts, and I brought something for you because we just got this this week. One is reentry, which is in coordination with the sheriff's office, and thank you very much with to the sheriff's office for their assistance in connection to detainees in the detention center through the PayTel system. We're still struggling with 2-way communication. That PayTel pad affords us the opportunity to do a skills assessment while the detainee is incarcerated. But unfortunately, the thing wasn't built for 2-way communication, and we're trying to overcome that. We hope that with the opening of the new detention center, we'll have greater access to detainees, but we get a almost every other day, we get a report from Paytel with the information that comes from a skills assessment app that's on the Paytel pad. And we now have a fair idea of the people who are incarcerated, first who want to be connected to employment, their skill set. And we now, due to the effort of Ms. Schiff, a new hire, we now recruited over 33 businesses that are working with us. We take that information to the business and say, I've got someone who will be released from the detention center in a certain period of time. Are you interested in interviewing that person? And we are picking up more companies almost every month to be part of that program. The second part of our recovery to work program is a workforce friendly a friendly workplace initiative that helps businesses deal with employees that might have substance use issues. And you can see that's with that pamphlet, that's a good summation of what we're doing, working with businesses to help them, because national statistics show that at least 10% of the workforce has a substance use issue. Gentlemen, that's the bulk of our what we've done in the last year and a half. Are there any questions? That's pretty good. I've stymied you all.
Very impressive, Mark, on your efforts and what you all have been able to accomplish over the last 3 years now. Is it? No, 2 years, 2.5.
It feels like 15, but it's been 4.5.
Okay, 4.5. Okay. So it looks like you're making a lot of progress. I know it's a tremendous mountain to climb, and but we're obligated to do it. And I think we're making great progress.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen. Anything?
Echo the same.
Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Chris Knopp, County Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First item I have is the board needs here this evening, chapter 112.05 of the Surry County Code of Ordinances. We have received a formal request to establish an ambulance franchise agreement with Elkin Emergency Rescue Squad Incorporated. It'll be for 1 year beginning April 1st. The Elkin Rescue Squad will be performing convalescent / basic life support transports for Hugh Chatham Health. This will be for non-emergent transports only and will be separate from their current agreement with Surry EMS for emergency calls. And the franchise would not be part of the 911 system. This is a hearing that the board's holding. It is not a public hearing. There is no public comment. We do have a complete application from Elkin Rescue Squad. And just as a reminder, on a new franchise, the board would need, if you so choose, in awarding a franchise this evening or at a future meeting, it has to be approved a second time in the following meeting's consent agenda. And then it's official. I believe Eric is here if you have any questions about the application specifically.
Eric, why don't you come up and give us a 2-minute synopsis of this, or your perspective on it?
Good evening. Elkin Rescue had approached me to ask about this idea originally. And the main part of the idea was to help Hugh Chatham Hospital. We did something similar with Northern Regional Hospital. They contracted with Miller, and they have an ambulance that helps them with discharges and transports from their facility so they can get beds clear quicker. And we were still working with Hugh Chatham. Surry County EMS was providing that backup, still that convalescent piece. We've had other services that have come into the county like Lifestar. Miller at one time was also performing that. And what we found out, just like with everybody else, they have short staffing issues as well. So Elkin kind of approached the idea and asked about it. I think it's a great idea because number one, it is a local organization that's able to partner with Hugh Chatham that will be able to help. They've worked with us for years on emergency setting. They have the ambulance that they can dedicate to that, and they're gonna have the personnel that they can staff during the week. That will also help Hugh Chatham clear their beds quicker, so you don't have that delay, and that also takes the stress off the patients and the family.
Eric, is it gonna help you?
Yes, sir.
All right.
We are still finding out that all the calls come in at the same time, so our ambulances are out on calls, and then Hugh Chatham has those discharges that they can't get out.
This will be a contract between Hugh Chatham and our memorandum of understanding, whatever the
Elkin Rescue Squad.
whatever the apparatus is to partner with Elkin Rescue Squad. Will they be I mean, I know some of our rescue squads are stretched. I'm just curious, will they be reimbursed for this?
They will. They're gonna partner with Hugh Chatham. I don't know the inner workings of it completely, but they're gonna work out an agreement to where they will get paid for these transports. And that will in turn, of course, fund their personnel that they'll be staffing the ambulance with.
Okay, so we're required to open a hearing, is that correct?
Holding a hearing.
Okay, we're holding the hearing right now.
Yep.
Okay. And then we need to take action on the potential
Yes.
agreement.
Either to award or not to award the.
Okay. And the award would be between Hugh Chatham Health and the Elkin Rescue.
The award of the franchise would be the Elkin Rescue Squad for that purpose.
Okay. All right. Gentlemen, you have the information here. What is your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we agree to the formation of an ambulance franchise agreement with the Elkin Emergency Rescue Squad and or the Elkin Rescue Squad and Hugh Chatham Memorial Hospital.
Okay, I have a motion to award the franchise to Elkin Rescue Squad, Elkin Emergency Rescue Squad. Do I have a second? Second, I think Mr. Oh, okay, since it's my district, I'll take Commissioner Goins a second. Okay, thank you, Commissioner Goins. Any discussion, any more discussion, gentlemen? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Eric.
Next item I have is we do have an application from Travis Bodie as a candidate for the open seat on the Board of Equalization Review. I believe he was recruited by Commissioner Marion as requested. So the application is in your packet for your consideration.
Okay, gentlemen.
I'd like to make a motion that we put Travis Bodie on the Board of Equalization and Review.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Marion to appoint Travis Bode to the Board of Equalization and Review. Do I have a second? Second, Commissioner Goins. Any discussion, gentlemen? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Next is simply an informational item. County Advocacy Days will take place May 23rd and 24th in Raleigh. This is the replacement for County Assembly Day. It will occur over afternoon and evening on the 23rd and conclude after lunch on the 24th. So if you have an interest in attending, let me know so that we can get you registered. Next is an update on the Development Code Modernization Schedule. Now, this is a similar memo to what you received in early January, updated. Since that time, the board did get a detailed presentation at its annual planning retreat, which was held here in Elkin on February the 22nd. That presentation was provided by Marty Needham and Howard Jones. Since that time, there's been an 8-minute video running and available on the county Surry on the go. There was a planning board presentation on March the 13th. On March the 28th, a presentation was made to, I believe, 7 or 8 agricultural groups, which was organized by Cooperative Extension and the Soil and Water Conservation Service. The planning board will hold their public meeting on April 10th, a week from tonight, for their final review of the modernization. And the county commissioners will have a public hearing on April 17th. the majority of that agenda is being dedicated for that public hearing, depending on the level of public comment we receive. So I just wanted to make sure everyone was updated on the schedule. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Marty, and we will try to get those answered.
Chris, for public consumption, this is the first code modernization in 2 decades, is that correct? In 20 years. So this is a very significant event. If you're inclined to participate in any of the public sessions on the update to the Surry County Code Ordinance Code, please feel free to do so. Very significant event. We've tried to take all interest into account throughout the county, everyone's opinion. We have tried to balance the public good and come up with a document that we feel reflects the beliefs and opinions of the citizens of Surry County in regards to this code modernization document that we will be taking up quite shortly. Chris?
I have a request that you amend my agenda to include an item. There's a memo that was placed at each of your seats before the meeting from Health Director Samantha Ainge.
Okay, gentlemen, I'm looking for a motion to amend tonight's agenda to include a item from the Surry County Health and Nutrition Center.
Motion to amend to include an item from the Health and Nutrition.
Motion, Commissioner Tucker. Do I have a second, gentlemen?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Johnson. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay.
This memo basically serves as an amendment to her original request. As you know, they've been building a storage building behind the service center for the mobile clinic and the truck that takes it around the county for various services. Currently, the estimated price is around $130,000. And I believe the initial discussion was it's going to be around $100,000. Now, Samantha has funds available for the project in excess of $43,000, as you can see from from her memo. She's basically asking that the commissioners approve this new updated price for the project and will allow it to be completed by the end of the month. As you know, the funds that she has secured for this will sunset at the end of April. I know they've worked really short timeline to get that thing built. If you've seen it, it's pretty much under this finished works. Marty's done a tremendous job at the point that it's at right now. So if you would just endorse this change in the project cost, knowing that she has funds available to complete it.
Is that the 130K number? Is that the number we need to use in the motion?
That's the number I would use. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, I'm looking for action.
Chairman, I'll make a motion that we extend the opportunity for Samantha Ainge with the Surry County Health and Nutrition to spend up to $130,000 on the building project in question here.
Okay, I have a motion, Commissioner Tucker, to update the new number for the Health and Nutrition Center to $130,000 as requested by Samantha Ainge, the Surry County Health Director. Do I have a second? Second, Commissioner Marion. Any discussion, gentlemen? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
That's all that I have, Mr. Chairman, for county manager items.
Okay, gentlemen, general county business. I think Commissioner Johnson, do you have an item?
Yes, I do. I think you have it in front of you. We have discussed this somewhat before in the last few months. Polycor, North Carolina Granite Corporation, as we call the quarry in Mount Airy, east of Mount Airy, is they, like Polycor, a Canadian company, has bought them out, and the quarry itself is their southeast hub here in the United States, and they are expanding very healthy, I would say, in equipment and other methods and everything. They actually have 65 acres of open quarry space that they're actually quarrying now. They have drilled down over 600 feet and hasn't found the end yet. And so that's going to be there for
Rest of your lifetime.
Hundreds and hundreds of years. But they do have a situation. If you if, we don't quite understand, I guess a geologist could explain to us a little better, but all quarries have pressure, a little pressure, and this pressure sometimes hinders the quarrying techniques or the thoughts how they do it, even though modern technology comes in, but their purpose, and they own quite a bit of land. We didn't get a map of that, but if you're familiar with Highway 103 east of Mount Airy, going towards Flat Rock, once you get to their main drive, they own everything. Let's see, I guess that would be the north side of 103, all the way out to our, just practically to our recycling center that we have there. Couple of lots that they're working on, but they would love to have for us to move our recycling center, but it was decided that wouldn't be in our best interest at the time. We even looked at other lands that we possibly could purchase or do that for their bit that they own, but things didn't work out. But last week, it was decided that NC Granite would love to have what we would call land behind our recycling center. And if you have been over there, you would see how it looks. If you clean the trees off and everything, you'll be right on the granite, on granite, just a little cover. But we're speaking with Jessica Montgomery. She helped me, and also Marty Neaton helped us with the survey and approximates, things like that. I think it identifies what they're asking for. It's 2.27 acres there. And the way we worked it out is looks like the back third or three-fourths of an acre that we appear that we would never use. If we ever had to expand or do something different on that property, there's plenty of room in front of what we currently have. So William Swift representing them there, he made a written offer and it was sealed. And our county staff, I assume, opened it up and the value that they're offering is $10,000 for that three-fourths of an acre. No road frontage, no anything. It's just the backside, and that will help them even out. The current land sort of juts out into their property somewhat. And so I feel like, in fact, the recommended motion says that if we approve this, we would also be surplusing the land if we approve the bid. And y'all know the way the bid works is once we receive 5% deposit from NC Granite, it would begin the 10-day process for upset bid. And Mr. Chairman, I'm going to go ahead and make that motion that we would approve of their initial bid of $10,000.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Johnson. It is, so you're making the recommended motion that we have here in front of us. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Do I need to read it, sir?
Please.
A recommended motion to approve the initial bid offer of $10,000 to purchase three-fourths of an acre of 1191 East Pine Street. It's supposed to be Pine Street. Mount Airy 27030, parcel number 5030-11-66-0959. It says only if approved, this parcel would be deemed surplus. And the upset bid process would begin contingent upon 5% deposit from Polycor NC Granite.
And that can be done as one motion, Ed. Okay, looking for a second. I have a second, Commissioner Marion. Discussion, gentlemen?
I have a question.
Okay.
Mr. Johnson, you and I have talked about this several times. I've been over there to look at it. I agree it wasn't a good thing to try to relocate. Nobody wants to, I mean, you go up to a new little housing development, you say, hey, how would you like to have a new recycling center? I mean, usually the answer is, well, no, thank you. So our option is to move it for a couple of locations where they had other lots on the other side of the road was not, we deemed not to be a good option. We also discussed that it could probably cost around $200,000 to relocate one, so we sure don't want to ever have to move it. We also discussed the fact that it's probably the largest and most heavily used recycling center of all the ones we have in the county. So, I'm a little reluctant to, to sell 3/4 of an acre of land, but to your point, probably in their way, it kind of juts out there and gets in, and it'd be a lot easier for them to own it than it would be for us to own it. And it looks like we got other acreage out front there a little.
Yes. Mhm.
So I'm not going to oppose it, but I do have a question. And when you and I first looked at this, there was another little dot that the county owned behind it that was tied in the
It's-
Mount Airy sewer system.
I can answer that question for you.
All right, what's the status
It's,
on that?
it's
little dot?
owned by Flat Rock Bannertown Sewer, which we are the board, and it wasn't advertised. So if can I go ahead and say that we'll probably have that at our next meeting?
So this action tonight is not going to involve the little
Not that little dot.
the little dot that was going to be used as a transfer station in the event we ever needed it for the water sewer system there.
Yeah, we didn't notify the public that the Flat Rock Bannertown Board would be meeting tonight.
I see, just,
That's the
I
reason.
understand. Okay.
And I've done my homework on it, so I didn't bring it up tonight, so I guess we'll bring it up when we been with Man Area, meet with Man Area and everything.
I understand. I don't have any opposition to it. I was just wondering if
Right.
we're going to take care of that little
Well,
piece of property also.
I thought we did till I was told otherwise.
I understand.
Ed, how do we surplus a piece of property if we don't have a boundary description for it yet? And we don't have a particular parcel ID number.
The board would accept the proposal subject to survey costs being assessed to quarry, and also subject to the board surplusing the property as part of the transaction.
Surplusing the parcel that will be surveyed out.
Yes, sir.
I was just, I guess the only, and I'm willing to support this. The only question I have, it seems like we've got the cart ahead of the horse, but if it's perfectly legal and proper to do it this way, I don't have a problem, but I just didn't know how you surplused a piece of property if you didn't know what the boundary description of it was.
I think that the purchasing agent probably did it this way, not knowing what the will of the board would be.
Mhm.
And if the will of the board, it may have been easier to obtain a consensus from the board as to the sale and then have the board surplus it, and then accept the offer. But I think it's a material issue.
Okay, nevertheless, this works, but this will have to come back to us again, once the upset bid process,
That's correct.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I would also recommend that the cost of advertising be assessed to the successful bidder during the upset bid process.
okay,
I have a question.
yes.
Will the upset bid process be delayed until the survey is available?
That would be my recommendation. And the surplus, the upset bid process can't occur until we do the publication. So I can't do a description until I have the survey. So, it's just going to be a delay, but probably not a material delay.
So I'm assuming you'll engage a surveyor tomorrow. Is that right, Chris?
Well, that's all cost will NC Granite will incur.
Okay, Commissioner
They
Tucker?
hired their own surveyor. They
Oh,
they
okay.
hire everything. I think, to my knowledge, Mr. Chairman, is that you'll sign on the dotted line.
Okay, and Jessica's going to tell them where to put those corners. Is that right?
They would need to coordinate with Jessica.
Okay.
I have a question about that.
Yes, sir.
Since we did, I guess, putting the cart before the horse is a good description. We don't have a survey and a description. But the way we're looking at it here, it is our intent to give them about sell them about 3/4 of
Or-
behind the fence.
Marty Needham and Jessica, Sandy, Don, and myself, we all looked at the computer. They run their lines, wave their magic wand and come up with
Sure.
a smidgen less than 3/4 of an acre.
So what's going to be prevalent here is regardless of what the acreage turns out to be, we're not going to sell them anything other than what's behind our fence.
10 foot behind the fence.
Okay? All right.
Okay, any more discussion, gentlemen? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Could I have a little more, well, maybe wait till after the meeting.
Uh,
I've sort of been the voice with William Swift. Can somebody
Yeah.
direct me on what they need to do next or?
Suggest they work with Jessica, engaging a surveyor, have her endorse the footprint of proposed conveyance. And the surveyor would prepare the plat. I would prepare a description. I would put together a legal ad and send it to the Mount Airy News for publication. That's it.
you got it, Larry?
Ed, would it be okay that I give you William Smith's number and let you share that with him?
Yes, sir, that's fine.
Thank you.
Okay, gentlemen, general county business. I'll start with you, Commissioner Marion.
Right. Thank you, Elkin High School, for having us here tonight. Something very interesting happened this past Saturday at Surry Central High School. And it's pretty fitting that we're at Elkin tonight. We had Pink in the Park, breast cancer awareness. And Surry Central Golden Eagles played the Bucking Elks of Elkin. Both communities came together this cause, and it was a rewarding day. Wonderful day. Julie Pratt, breast cancer survivor, threw out the first pitch at the JV game. Jordan Tucker's two of his three children threw out first balls in the varsity game, and he's battling cancer, Dobson boy. Keep him in your prayers. Julie is a survivor, so we had a good barbecue, and your very own Allison White is married to the JV coach at Surry Central, Drew White. And they worked their hind ends off to make everything happen. And a big shout out to you, Allison. Thank you. Both communities came together, had good ball games. Wonderful kids. Most of these kids, in Little League, they were on the all-star team together. After the game, they all took pictures with each other and the parents, and just a great day of camaraderie and coming together for a good cause. And some of the proceeds will go to the Jordan Tucker family. Thank you.
Mr. Goins?
Again, thanks to Elkin High School. Ms. Burton, appreciate you having us, and you had to be a parent tonight, and but we appreciate you coming in after the fact. And your school looks great, and gym looks great, and so that'll be a great addition. Congratulations to Dr. Cox on your upcoming retirement. Hope you enjoy that as much as I do from time to time. When I get to work a little bit here and there, but you'll find plenty to do. But congratulations to you. We got a lot of good things going in our county, our Children's Center. We appreciate what you do. Sherry, relay that to Robin, that we appreciate what the Children's Center does to help our youth who need support during difficult times. That is important. And having dealt with the Children's Center for many years, it is a worthwhile endeavor. To our libraries, John, we appreciate what our libraries do for our communities. It's more than just picking up books, and we realize that and see that and appreciate all you do for the citizens of this county. Mark Willis and your staff, we appreciate what you do each and every day to combat substance abuse. We try to curtail that along with our EMS director. We appreciate what your guys do, our sheriff's office. We appreciate our deputies and all the staff for all that they do. And so I'm going to end with that. Thanks.
Mr. Tucker?
Again, the same. I want to thank Elkin High School for warmly and kindly inviting us over tonight and the wonderful meal that you prepared for us. It was really good. The cheesecake was really good. It was all good. We want to certainly thank you folks that represent the Children's Center and what wonderful things you do over there, and we appreciate you. All the folks representing the Northwest Piedmont Libraries, we appreciate you as well. Thank you for all your tireless work. Mr. Willis, Mark Willis, all that you're doing to help us try to figure out how to fight this opioid problem that plagues our county. We thank you and your staff. Good presentation. We certainly appreciate it. Mr. Eric Southern, we thank you as well for all that you've done here to coordinate with some of our business tonight and for showing up at our meetings. And I know you can find many, many other things to do. Congratulations to all you teachers and your awards and your certificates that you received tonight. My daughter's a school teacher. I was sharing with Dr. Cox tonight when I came in. I've already shared it with her, but I'll always have a fondness. Her first job was here at Elkin City Schools, and she worked here for about 3 years before my son-in-law decided they were going to move somewhere, get married and move to another county where she still is a teacher in Davidson County. So thanks to all you folks. Appreciate your participation. Thank you for coming out and helping make Surry County government work. And appreciate you fellow commissioners. And it was good to be with you all tonight. Thank you.
Mr. Johnson?
I'm just going to echo all the thanks to all of you this tonight. Yes, the food was great. 7 years ago, I was sworn in this room. Sworn at, yeah, but that was after the meeting. No, and I thought pretty fond memories. We've had some meetings here in the past, but I just, on the way over here, 7 years ago, I was sworn in as a county commissioner. I appreciate the gym taking shape. I wish you luck on the proposed finish time. But I'm glad that's looking good, looking good. I travel over about once a month just to take a little glance at it. But thank you all again for especially all the volunteers that what will be without them. And
Commissioner Tucker?
Yes, and I would be remiss not to. And I want to thank Dr. Myra Cox for her years of service and years of service here. And I want to wish you a very, very successful and happy retirement. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. I was in Raleigh. Want to kind of give a quick report to the board. 3 days last week with Dr. David Shockley on community college business. We were, it was a statewide trustees association meeting. And we lobbied the legislature, General Assembly on issues important to the community college system. It was a very good 3 days. Actually, I was one of 3 county commissioners who is also a board of trustee member on a panel of 3, and I was one of those speaking to the entire group in a panel discussion. It was very informative. Right out of the gate, I told the assembled group of about 400 people that I was a graduate of Surry Community College. My wife was. Both my daughters were graduates of Surry Community College, as well as my brother. And I am a firm advocate and believer in the community college system. I also want to tell you, I had a gentleman come up to me at the meeting. Very, very, very nice gentleman. He was from the other side of Boone near the Tennessee line. He is a trustee at the Caldwell Community College up there. And he told me, he said, Eddie, I watch all of your meetings, your county commissioner meetings online because it's on Skyline TV. Well, Skyline TV goes all the way from Allegheny, Ashe, Watauga, and I think even Avery County. And it was really, I was humbled by his conversation with me, and he was really interested in our meetings and told me how much he enjoyed watching our meetings, and they became quite lively, and we try to keep a humorous note sometimes to our meetings for a bit of levity. But he did say this to me, and I wanted to bring this out to my fellow commissioners. He said, Eddie, he said, I'm an old man. And I think he said he was like 78 years old, still on the board of trustees up there. His name was Lowell Yance. But anyway, Lowell told me, he said, Eddie, I think we are at a tipping point with the community college. And I asked him, I said, what do you mean, Lowell? He said, heretofore, he said, for the last, as long as I can remember, he said, there was always somewhat of a stigma attached to going to a community college. And he said, I have watched this for many, many years. And he said, I think that has changed. And he said, I think it's prestigious now to go to a community college. And I think it's smart. And I think it's a wise decision. And whether it be college parallel, whether it be career and technical education, whether it be going to whatever school that one may desire to go to save a lot of money, to work. But there's a lot of pride in going to a community college. And so I wanted to tell the board that. I did tell the board that, I did tell the assembled 400 or so people in that audience when I was on the panel. I was asked what the future portend for the state community college system. And there are some demographic challenges with the state community college system. The birth rate is down. There may be some community colleges in some sections of the state that may be combined with others or may go away altogether. So, but I'm happy to report here in Surry County with the extension of the campus to Elkin County and the multi-campus funding that we get every year from the General Assembly and the very unique viticulture and enology program that we have. Surry Community College's FTE is healthy. We have a really great future, I believe, at Surry Community College. Even the BLET programs, the basic law enforcement training, are showing much more interest than they were in the last year, 2 years, going back 2 years. So I'm really optimistic, but I did tell the board that, the audience in the meeting that I thought the future was good for the community college system, and I hope they didn't get. The only thing that downside I could see was that I hope the community college system in the North Carolina that has broad bipartisan support among all people in the state legislature. And we saw that. And I hope the community college system didn't get involved in these awful culture wars that we see going on in our nation and our state today, because it is never healthy for any entity to go down that path, because it is so divisive and disruptive. But that is my report to the board, gentlemen. Yes, sir, Commissioner Marion.
Along with Commissioner Tucker, I'd be remiss not to mention Hank and Tracy Whitaker. Hank is coach for the Golden Eagles baseball, Surry Central, and together with Drew and Allison, great event was put on and a lot of money raised for these families. Thank you.
Okay, gentlemen, I'm looking for, Commissioner Johnson.
I'd like to be reminded by Chris, if we could, that we start next week. Is that correct, on budget sessions? All right, that's Tuesday night, right? Okay. Thank you.
Yep. And Mr. Johnson, you can have the birthday cake ready. That's my birthday, so I'll be spending it doing county business, I imagine. So, anyway.
We're gonna bring a paddle too.
Look, yeah. Motion, Commissioner Goins, to adjourn. Second, Commissioner Tucker. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?